All right, I'm Ginger,
And I'm Brooke.
and we're still here. I wanted to start with something we haven't done in a while. I feel like we've kind of gotten away from what this whole thing was about, which was talking about our kids. And so um, I kind of want to change the format a little bit where we talk about like what's something that's happened this week that was memorable about your kids, or like what's a moment from this week with your kids that you keep thinking about, or what like caught you off guard.
Um, Here's what I like is I like that we talked about that a little bit. And I struggled a lot yesterday because I was like, I know that there was something with with my kids that I like wanted to remember. And I feel like that's always the hardest part, right? Where it's like, oh, I need to remember that. And then we never remember it. And so it took me a minute, but I remembered what I wanted to actually share. Um, and so, okay, here's what I loved is I loved that this last week. So I think it was Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know what day we went out on the Justin's boat last week. Um, but I think the big thing is that she's just had a rough year, right?
Right.
And I think with all the feelings that brings up as a parent to like watch your kid struggle, she had the best time. And I mean, like, Justin's daughter was there, one of her really good friends, which totally threw Ruby off. Ruby's not good with last minute changes or people that she doesn't know. She has to figure that out.
Right.
But Virginia I even sent you like a picture of her on
It
the
was so
boat.
cool.
And like every moment that I looked over at her, she has the biggest smile on her face. To the point where like we even like went back to the docks, and he and Justin and I and Ruby, we all went back up to the clubhouse. But then the three girls kind of like stayed on the boat and like talked and chatted all night. Virginia had the best time. And I think after watching her struggle for so long and then watching her for like an entire night, like hours, just the biggest smile on her face, having the best time, like to the point where she was even frustrated because she's fourth grade. All the girls are sixth grade. Um,
Right.
like she's irritated that I even like held her back for a year, and like she's not in fifth grade closer to them. Like it just was so sweet, like watching her be so happy. It was great. It was great. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. The pictures were awesome. I mean, the pictures of everybody were awesome. It was really cool. Um, okay. So, what I wanted to talk about happened on Tuesday of last week, and we record on Tuesday. So, it has been a full
Mm-hmm.
7 days, like a full week. And I wanted to save this. I didn't. Like, spoiler alert, I didn't save it. I didn't wait. But, um, sorry, that's my phone. Um, so I know it's way over there by you, so I can't like do
Ugh,
anything about it.
just silence it. You're talking to
I
me.
know. I'm sorry. So anyway, I wanted this whole thing to be like, I'm going to show you this picture and I can't wait to like see your face. But Harrison's girlfriend came over. We had band practice, so I knew that we weren't going to be, like readily available to check on them or whatever. But also our downstairs living room air conditioner went out. And so it was going to be hot. And so I told Harrison like they could be in his room. The first time she came over, they were allowed to be in his room because um, it was Henry's birthday party. And so like all these like special circumstances, which I normally wouldn't allow them to just like go hang out in his room, right? They're 14. They're in 8th grade. Like that's not a thing, right? But so I knew it was going to be really hot in the living room. And so I let them go in his room because they have their own like air conditioner for Harrison and Henry's room. So anyway, they were in there. We had band practice. 9 o'clock is when I promised her parents I would take her home. And I go in and they are, I'm sorry, Harrison's girlfriend's mom, if you listen to this, but they were wrapped in each other asleep. And when I say like a 30-year-old couple wrapped in each other asleep, it was simultaneously the sweetest thing I've ever seen and the most rage-worthy thing I've ever seen. And I went into his room fully like, I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't want them to be like close and holding hands. And so I go in, the door's open. We're not allowed to close doors in my house. And so the door was open and I go and I'm like, hey guys, it's time to go. Like, knock on the open door. Like, hey guys, like, and like, they didn't even wake up. Like, didn't even wake up. I did go in. I did take a picture. I did go back up to the music room and show the entire band and went back down even louder to say, it's time to go. It's time for me to take you home. And they still didn't wake up. I legit had to like clap my hands and be like, okay, guys, it's time. I don't want her to think that I'm mean or anything, but I'm like, y'all are like grown people wrapped in each other. It was crazy. But also that was Tuesday. I don't know the exact date, but like end of March, second to last Tuesday of March. And Harrison got his first kiss. So,
we're sharing that part too.
Well, I mean, I think so. This is like very important to me.
To be fair, and we don't have to share the details of that, but it is like the best first kiss story I think I've ever heard.
I'll share the details.
I mean, like, if any one of us though, if any female could pick a kind of story that her first kiss is going to happen of, I know what my story is. I've heard yours. They're usually not great.
No.
But like Harrison,
it was the sweetest thing. So we dropped her off at her house. Also pulled into her driveway and like she wouldn't get out of the car. And I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. And she goes, I don't want to leave. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, sweetest thing ever, but also get the fuck out of my car. Like, I have to talk to my son right now. So he walks her up to the door. I mean, this is like fairy tale
after
stuff.
you tell him though, to be fair.
Well, I did. I texted him while we're all three sitting in the car. I texted him like, you walk her up to the car. So he takes her up to the door and whatever. And he comes back in and he's like, I mean, like glowing. And I was like, okay, now that she's gone and this is over, that will never happen again. Like, you're never going to be. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you're never going to be alone in your room. Y'all like full on, like intertwined, snuggled together.
I was about
and
to
went
say,
to sleep.
to be fair, I did see the picture without any context. And let me say, it's really hard to figure out what you're looking at when you're not prepared, because you're just kind of like, I can see that there's people sleeping, but they're the same person. And
it's rated
how do
R
I know where
for
one
sure.
starts and the other? I mean, fully clothed
For sure.
If
Rated R.
If for some reason her parents are listening, not anything like horribly inappropriate, but you would just kind of be startled to go like, where does mine begin and yours end? Like, where do they? But I mean, props to Harrison, right? Because like, best first kiss story.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna let you. I totally interrupted you, so
Yeah, no, it's
continue
fine.
with that part of the story because it's so good.
Yeah. So he like, I tell him like, okay, we're not doing that again. This is not a thing. This is not how this is going to be. But then, and get on to him a little bit. He was a little surprised and he didn't understand, but then he was like, I totally get it. I pulled the whole, like, I don't want to be a grandma. And he was like, got it. So then I was like, after all that was over, I was like, okay, did you kiss her? And he's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, well, how was it? And he said, he was like, she was in my arms and I looked at her and I told her, you're so beautiful. And then he went in and kissed her. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I got kissed by Mark Wood behind the portables in 6th grade in Abilene, Texas. And it was probably the worst experience of, definitely not the worst experience of my life, but at that time was pretty awful. And I just like, oh my God, if this, I told him, I said, okay, first of all, you're not supposed to do that in your bed in 8th grade in my house, but the coolest first kiss of your life story that I've ever heard.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, I want to be excited. I'm excited for her, right? Because that's her,
Right.
her first kiss story, which is the most incredible. But also the fact that, like, that Harrison, like, made that whole scenario her first kiss. Like, you do just kind of be like, way to go, like, way to go, mom. Way to go, dad. Like, I don't know who gets the credit for that, but like to raise the boy that's like made this incredible moment her first, like, and for both of them, like, to be fair, it's for both of them. But like, no, I mean, mine was with Josh Huckabee at a homecoming dance after
I
Jordan.
love that we're naming people that we don't actually know anymore.
Jordan was trying all night to get me to make out with him, and I wouldn't. And so we totally like joked around with Josh, and Josh was like, yeah. And then he went for it. And I was like, cool.
This is my favorite episode so far.
It was not a first kiss to like write home about. It was more of like a first kiss on like, cool. I don't need to do this again for a while. If this is what it is, like, number one, I don't like you. But number two, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, no, I never knew that a whole mouth could cover like the middle of my nose to the bottom of my chin. Yeah, I think
mine was just like a tongue in your mouth and like nothing moved, and it was like, is this what it is? If this is it, like,
oh wow, that's pretty lazy.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, mine was like completely all over my face. I remember walking away thinking like, that's what that is. Like, that is the worst. Yeah, no, that's terrible. I don't even remember my second kiss because I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay.
Oh, that's fair. I don't think I know what my second kiss was.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never thought about that.
No, my first kiss was in Abilene, Texas. My second kiss had to be in Collinsville, Texas. And I have no idea who or when that was because I'm pretty sure I've blocked out Collinsville, Texas out of my memory.
I don't, but it's so funny though that you can remember. Like, I know that I was at the Rohrbachers' house after a homecoming dance. We were behind somebody's car after sitting on the at the bonfire. But like, I know everything about the first one. But I have no recollection of like who was next.
Yeah.
And when.
Yeah.
I know what I was wearing. I know that I went to the dance with Andrew Wills. Like, I know all of the things, but I know nothing about what was, I mean, it was a while. I know that.
No, I think it was a while for me too. I know Rodney wrote me a note that said my boyfriend, Mark, wanted to kiss me. That's how calculated this was. It was in 7th grade, and he was like, meet us behind the portables. And I went behind the portables, and Rodney and my boyfriend, Mark, was there. And he like went to town on my face, and I think we all ran away, and I'm pretty sure I never saw them again. Because I think it was like at the end of the year. And then that summer we moved away. And then I moved to Collinsville where, yeah.
I mean, I feel like mine like led to multiple. I mean, Jordan was the one that was trying to get me to make out with him most of the night. And my friend Ashley stood up to go make out with him. They ended up dating for like 2 or 3 years. And then I joked around with Josh and was like, well, we're going to go. And then Josh made out. But then he ended up like dating one of my best friends, Mallory, right afterwards for the longest time too.
We're
and I just
naming
remember being
so
like,
many people.
you're welcome, guys.
Right. What grade was this? Was this like your senior year?
It's my junior year.
Oh my God. Oh, we're so
I think
different.
I was 17.
Wow.
You know what? It could have been sophomore though. It was either sophomore or junior year. I don't know. Not that makes a massive difference. I was 16 or 17 for first kiss. And then I was like, cool,
Yeah.
done.
Our lives are so different.
They are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was full on like on birth control having sex before my 16th birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I stopped talking to somebody because somebody else told me that he wanted to hold my hand, and I was like, cool, done.
Yeah.
If he's not even gonna like hold my hand on his own, like I'm moving on.
Wow.
And that was my junior year. I know that was junior year. That was the year I dated everybody for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I got the reputation for like giving guys 2 weeks and then just being like, nope,
Oh,
done.
yeah. That's not the reputation I had. I didn't really date anybody in high school. I mean, I didn't date anybody for very long until I had sex. And then I dated that guy through college.
Ugh.
But also not the only person I had sex with. Oh, man, we should move on. Okay, let's see. So our topic is going to be advice versus blind support. This is something that we've talked about before, and how we're very different in that I don't necessarily always want blind support, but I generally want blind support. I will ask for advice if I want advice, but if I just like come to you, I just want blind support. And you're very different in that, like, you always want advice. You rarely take it, but you always want it. And so, the opening question is, if I come to you with something, do you think your instinct is to support me or give advice? Which one?
If it's you coming to me,
Yeah.
if it's you coming to me, it's 100% support. It's
Right.
It's majority of the time. Every once in a while, I will offer advice. I do feel more comfortable offering my opinion on things, which I think an opinion is different than advice. But yeah, no, if it's you coming to me, I try to offer, like, usually it's just like, we hate her. We hate him.
Right.
Like, whoever it is, we can't stand them. I don't know what's happening, but absolutely, they're the worst person in the world. That's what we do.
Right. And your opinion is usually blind support. Like, it's very rare that I come to you and I'm like, oh, this happened or this thing. And you're like, I don't know. Like, maybe you're reading into that the wrong way. No, your opinion is usually like, we hate them. And like, why are we even talking about them anymore? Like, this is dumb.
Or my opinion, I feel like, is a different take on why we don't like them.
Yes, exactly.
My opinion is like, this could be the reason, but like, it changes nothing. Like,
right.
maybe the reason that they're behaving a certain way is like for a totally different reason. But
Right.
like, at the end of the day, we're still reaching the same outcome. We don't like
For
them.
sure. Yeah. No, they did this to me. Well, but they're also ugly. Like, it's like just validating reasons to support me. But I do think that when you come to me, you're always like, it's less about validation and it's more about like, what should I do? But you rarely take the advice, but you always want it. Like,
I
is
do.
the thing. Yeah.
I love advice. I want to know everybody's opinions. I want to know what everybody sees in the situation that I'm in. Because I feel like it lets me have the best ability. Like, I get all of the points of view so that I can make the right kind of, I feel like it gives me the ability to make the right decision.
Right. I mean, I don't always think that's true, but I see where you're coming from. So what does advice feel like when it's helpful versus when it's not?
Oh, you know, I think this is where we're going to be different because I think I like all advice. I like all of it. I treasure when anybody gives me advice, even if it's something that I 100% wholeheartedly think is the most ridiculous piece of advice that you can give me. But to me, like, it's all still the same. Like, and it's all still kind of coming from the same place, but different perspectives of the same place. I don't know. Like, I like getting advice. Like, I want to know what everybody genuinely thinks or genuinely feels about a situation that I bring to people when I ask. That's a big thing. I feel like I need to ask for an opinion. Unsolicited advice feels a little bit different, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like all advice for me is unsolicited. Like, I don't ever, it's very rare that I will be like, what should I do? I think, like, if you, not just you, I'm not singling out you, I'm saying anyone, when I'm like, oh my God, this thing's happening and this is and someone comes back with like, well, you should do this, it almost immediately like pisses me off. Where I'm like, no, just be like, they suck and you're right. I don't want anyone's advice ever. Every once in a while, we were talking about this today, like every once in a while, because I feel like I really try to see somebody else's perspective in any argument that I'm in. Like, oh, I can see where they're coming from. I can see why they think that. I don't agree with them. I think they're wrong, but I understand why you see that way. Or like even somebody who's like very much like fundamentally against like my values in my life, I can generally see how they can come to that conclusion. My in-law family and I very much disagree on every major viewpoint of the world. But I can...
You and I do.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even more so with them, right? Like, it's not just a general aspect of politics. I think you and I align much more than they can't see my side. So I think like you can see where I'm coming from. You don't agree with me. I don't agree with you, but we can see where each other's coming from. Mm-hmm. But my in-law family, they can't see where I'm coming from. We'll get in an argument. And they'll fight with me about it. But it's like I see where they have come to the conclusion that they've come to, right? I get it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right, but I get it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll get in an argument with somebody, and I was just talking about this example where like I get in an argument with somebody and I can't see the other side. Like I just can't understand where they're coming from. I don't get it. They're not making any sense. It just blows my mind. And I'll ask John, I'm like, hey, can you like play devil's advocate here? I know this is like a touchy thing or whatever, and he'll do it and he'll be like, well, maybe this is the other side of it. And I'm like, okay, you're pissing me off. We can't do this anymore. Like we can't talk about this anymore because I'm getting mad at you. I didn't want to get mad at you, but I just don't like that. John categorizes that as I don't like when people disagree with me. And I fell into that where I'm like, that's true. I hate it when people disagree with me. And I do, but I don't like it when you disagree and I can't see your side of it. Like, it's not that I'm mad that you don't see it the way that I see it. It's like I can't get on board with where you are at the moment. And that's my problem. And I don't know how I got on that tangent, but that is like I would rather just have blind support than you tell me your side of the story or your version of why I'm upset.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I don't
think
want,
there's a difference there.
yeah. It's not that
it's not the disagreement. It's the fact that people aren't willing to concede that we see it from different perspectives.
right.
I think that's the main thing. You and I don't agree, and we state our beliefs very clearly, but we also give room that I'm not going to be swayed to believe. I can't understand the mindset that comes from somebody on the other side of me in the same way that you can't understand the mindset of where I'm at. And you do just kind of reach a point where you're just like, we can't see it, right? And it's
Right.
like, I understand that you're coming from a different perspective. And whether I agree with that perspective or not, but like perspectives on beliefs and stuff like that, that's different than advice,
Right.
and things like opinions. I mean, that's all like very, very different.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing with John and me is that I don't like it when he disagrees with me when I know he's doing it just to disagree.
Right.
Like just to have this argument for no reason that doesn't make sense to me. That goes back to our things like nobody cares if you're right, like last week. Okay. So in parenting with your kids, when do you step in with advice and when do you just support them?
Oh. I don't know. Like, I think it's a lot of both. I think with parenting, you have to kind of do both things simultaneously. I think you have to support your kids and I think you have to give them advice, but then you also have to kind of step back and give them the space to make their own decisions and their own judgments and their own mistakes. I mean, I think that there's a really hard balance to find between the two of those. I don't know. That's a hard question to kind of answer.
Yeah. Advice versus blind support is a very common narrative in my house that we ask that all the time. I mean, like anytime anybody's having a problem, the immediate first question is blind support or advice. Like, what are you looking for? And a lot of the times it's blind support. And my kids are allowed to cuss. I don't that's a thing. And when you do blind support, your immediate response is fuck that bitch. Like that's my kids love to say it because they love that there's cuss words that they're allowed to say. But that's but when I'm upset about something, my kids say, do you want my blind support or do you want my advice? And I respond in what I need in that moment. Like I'm really frustrated and I don't know what to do. Or I'm really frustrated and I just need someone to tell me that I'm right. And we blind support or we give each other advice. And it's very rarely advice. Like most of the time, my family just wants someone to be on their side. And I've struggled with that with my mom when I was a kid. Like I remember being in college, screaming into the phone, like, I don't want your help. I just want you to listen. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want you to tell me what to do because I'm not in a place to listen to advice because I'm just mad or I'm just upset or whatever. And I just want you to tell me that I'm right. Even if I'm not, right? I mean, like, if I come to you and I'm crying because someone like really hurt my feelings or somebody did something to me that's really upsetting, but maybe I asked for it. Maybe it is all my fault. But in that moment, I need you to tell me it's not, even if that's not true. Like, and I think it takes a long time to figure out what somebody needs in that moment. But like, I'm learning that with my kids, and my kids are learning that with me, to where I'm like, okay, you're really frustrated. Blind support or advice. And if sometimes when they're really quiet and they're upset about something, they're like, I really need advice. And then I'm like, okay, like maybe you didn't handle that the right way. Like,
yeah, I think for me, like, even, so I'm thinking of like one specific scenario where Ruby came home one day and she was complaining about somebody, and, you know, I mean, and she's venting about her real feelings, right? Like, and so there's validation and that she feels a certain way. And I'm meeting her where she's at, and I get where she's coming from. And I'm like, yeah,
right.
I mean, I get it. And I understand your feelings, and this person can be this certain way. And what I loved is that at the same time that Jones was in the room and Jones is listening, and Jones like comes back, and he's, I mean, not comes back, but he like finally chimes in, and he's like, you know what? I feel like this is really unfair though. And you guys are both being very judgmental. And he totally tries to call out the two of us, right? And I love that Ruby has the space to say what she feels and what she needs, right? So like there's that little bit of blind support. And I love that Jones is kind of coming in and he's like, okay, but like let's also be aware that like this person, we care about this person, and that like let's think about where they're coming from. And totally comes in with like this different side of advice. And it was like, okay, you're both right? Like there's the blind support, and Ruby should feel comfortable in the walls of her own home,
Right.
to come and like sit with her mom and to vent and complain about how she feels. She should have that space to say
Right.
all of the things. But I love that Jones comes in and Jones is like, hey, let's also be aware though. And I love that there's like that little bit of advice. So to me, like there is a simultaneous, I mean, I think with my kids, like I'm so desperate as the only parent in the house, right? Like to try to keep all lines of communication open. And I love that there is a balance, because I do feel like we're constantly always doing both.
Right.
Where, I mean, I like, that's the scenario that I thought of while you were talking. And I love it because I just think it's both. And that is parenting, right? Like, it's
Right.
your kids even kind of going like, what do we need in this moment? That they recognize that there's like a difference between the two. How do I address it? Like, and I do think that, you know, I don't know. I like it. I like that there's both. I like that we have different, my kids are not allowed to cuss, but
Right. So have you ever given advice and immediately knew it wasn't what they needed to your kids?
I mean, no doubt. I mean, nothing immediately pops in my head, but I already know for a fact, yes, somewhere along the lines, yes. If I had more time to process what that would be, I'm sure I could come up with 100 situations. But yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of times where I have failed and like said the wrong thing and offered up my own feelings rather than like think about like what the kids really needed in that moment, whether it was support or advice. 100% I've done that.
Yeah, I think about like when Harrison's just telling me a story and then all of a sudden I'm like going into boys and girls and how they think differently, and I just like try really hard to be a good boy mom, right? Like I am the only girl in the house who like I just try really hard to make sure that my boys grow up to be good men and take women's feelings into consideration. But then also like I realize that I go on these awful tangents about like my own traumas that have nothing to do with my kids. And my kids do make comments now. They're like, oh God, here goes mom. Like on like that's not who we are and that's not who we're growing up to be. But yeah, I do that a lot. I think I do that more than I'd like to admit, that I project my experiences from men onto my boys. And I don't want to be that way. But I also do want them to be aware that, you know, that's like what girls are dealing with. Just because they're not dealing with it with you doesn't mean they're not dealing with it out in the world. And so you need to be cognizant of it and also like handle women. I mean, women's experiences in the world are very different than men's. And I mean, in any kind of, I don't know, minority environment, that was really hard to say. That's the way it is, right? And so like you have to be cognizant of it. But I don't want my kids to be like punished for things that have never happened in their life. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's, I don't know, I'm just trying to raise good humans, right? And I don't want them to pay the price for other people's mistakes, like dudes treating girls badly. So, but you have to understand that those girls are in those situations. It just because like you're not in those situations or causing those situations doesn't mean that they have these experiences that they're also bringing into your relationship, your life, your experiences. And so, but I do think I trauma dump on my kids way more than I intended to or wanted to. I just like am trying very much to make them aware without traumatizing them. But that's also a balance. That's a hard like line to walk.
That's what I was about to say. Like, it's really hard, I think, as a mom trying to raise boys in today's world, right? And I think, I mean, there is one instance where I was trying to have a conversation with Jones and I was really kind of frustrated. And he came to me, kind of apologized for something, and then like went down a different tangent. He made a comment, and I just remember hearing the comment that he made, and it was something along the lines of, well, like they didn't tell me that they didn't want me to do that. It was something along those lines. And I just remember being like, no, shutting this down right now. And I remember like having the conversation and like laying into him and giving him all of this advice. And at the end of the conversation, I just remember being like, do you get what it is that I'm trying to say? Like, does this answer like what you think you're trying to say? And he was like, I just wanted to apologize. And I just remember being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I just laid into you completely. And then I was like, well, come give me a hug.
Right. Based on
and
your own trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was my own thoughts and opinions. And like, I totally like steamrolled the whole conversation and made it something that it wasn't. And I just remember whenever he was like, I just wanted to apologize to you. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm so sorry. I love you so much.
Yeah.
It's really hard to raise boys as a woman. Like, we don't know what they, I mean, I just had a whole conversation with this, with Justin the other night where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a woman trying to raise a boy to be a good man. That's rough.
Right. No, it's hard. Well, and it's hard not to blame all men for your shitty experiences and to then try to raise good men based off of your shitty experiences. And like, that's not fair. That's not fair to your kids. It's not fair to your sons but that's always been my plan is like, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to tell you like, you don't do this and you don't do this and you don't treat women like this. And they're also like, I would have never even thought, because like in my house, to be honest, my boys are learning how to be men based off the way their dad treats me. It doesn't have anything to do with the lessons that I teach them or the lessons that I like nail into their heads, like every time you're around a girl, she's thinking something differently than you do, or when you try to hold hands, like she's scared of, and like when girls walk through parking lots, they're scared, and when men don't, they're not, or when they walk through parking lots, they're not scared. Like, you need to understand that, to understand the way girls think. But in actuality, like, they're learning how to treat girls based off of the way their dad treats me. 100%. It doesn't,
Right.
I can say all the things, but they can like hear all these stories from all kinds of women, but they're learning how to treat their woman based off the way their dad treats me. And that's like,
it's true on the flip side too, though, right? Like, I feel like Jones is learning he learned how to not treat a woman based
Right.
off of how his dad treated me. But
Right.
then who teaches them the rest of the part, how to be a man and to treat a woman? It's so hard. It's so stressful.
Yeah.
It's because I think as a woman, right, you have so many experiences and you're trying to not to wrap it around to advice, right? Like, you're trying to not make your kid feel like jaded, but all you have to go off of is like your experiences. And so that's what you want to give your kids advice, is based off of the experiences that you've had. And it's really tricky to tap down your advice based off of experience and to give them advice based off of like a neutral perspective, because what you want to do is you want to make them the best version. So you don't want to like trauma dump, but you also don't want to make them feel like it's going to be the easiest, best thing in the world. Like, there's a middle ground, and it's like, I want to give you the perspective that it can be this way, but at the same time, like, it can also be really terrible. Like, it's so tricky.
Well, it's hard too, because you're basing off, my sons are basing off how to treat women based off our relationship, mine and John's relationship. But they're also going to be with a partner who's basing their perception of a relationship off of a completely different relationship. So like, I mean, you're melding these two things that like rarely cohesively go together, right? And
they're usually not.
Yeah, I mean, like, that only works if somebody's basing a relationship off of the exact same relationship that John and I have, right? And I think, and I don't have daughters, so I don't know, but I mean, I know that daughters are also basing off their relationships off of like the way their dads treat their moms. And so
100%.
Even though like our kids have grown up so close together, like Henry and Virginia have known each other longer than they can remember. So, but Virginia is basing how a woman should be treated based off of like yours and Jamin's relationship. And Henry's based, you know what I mean? Like, and so those two very much clash. Like, as far as Virginia's concerned, like, your dad's gone all the time. Like, the dad's gone. He's doing his own thing. And mom takes care of everything. And as far as Henry's concerned, like, dad handles just as much as mom does, as far as parenting, as far as like going to school and going to activities and showing up at doctor's appointments and doing all the things. Like, we very much co-parent 50-50, and like John does just as much as I do. And so like they would clash together, even though they've like legitimately grown up together. Like, for as long as they can remember, they've grown up.
I'm about to get really sad by that statement, so I feel like we should move on.
Are you gonna?
I don't know.
I thought you were looking at your phone.
I don't know. That breaks my heart.
Yeah,
it breaks my heart that that's her experience, but
I mean, like, so she's gonna be a badass wife, like, and be pleasantly surprised by somebody who shows up all the time. I mean, hopefully Henry and Virginia eventually get their shit together and are together. And they like, I mean, like, but she's also like very strong willed to where like maybe she grows up and she doesn't, it's the same as Jones. Jones has learned not how to be like, you grow up either the same way as your parents or you grow up in spite of your parents. And I think Jones very much is going to grow up in spite of his dad. Like, he sees the way he doesn't want to be, right? But I mean, like, I don't have daughters, so it's very hard for me. This is like just perspective. But I do very much think that your daughters are going to grow up to be like pleasantly surprised that a man is going to like take care of them. Like, I think that's advantageous for them. I'm looking over to the side because I'm looking at you in the face. But it's an advantageous thing. Like, they're going to grow up to know that they have the capability of doing everything on their own. And they're going to find a partner that complements their life rather than they're dependent on.
I mean, that would be the hope, right? I mean, it's hard for me because I feel like I grew up watching parents that were very much like what you just described, you and John, right? Like, my parents were 50-50. Both my parents were phenomenal. And I have zero complaints. There's nothing about my childhood or upbringing that I feel like I could ever point out that like, oh, my parents never failed anywhere. I think my parents did an incredible job in spite of their circumstances and upbringing. And then it just always feels like it sucks a little bit, right? Like, cause I mean, I feel like the hard part is, right? Like, is that I failed. And I feel like my kids missed out on the 50-50 parent that contributes and wants to be around, and they don't know what that feels like. And so I think all I can do is hope that my kids can see. I hope that I'm able to provide enough advice from life experiences that would point them in a different direction without belittling their dad. That's not something that I would ever want to do. I don't know. It's just hard. That's a hard conversation to have, and to listen to the idea that, which is, and it's not to say that it's like a knock against, I think it's incredible. I love watching that you and John are 50-50. You two are teammates. I see lots of couples that are, and I think it's a very beautiful thing. And I don't think, I mean, obviously that's the ideal, but it's hard just kind of going like I failed in that area for my children.
Yeah, I don't know that you failed. I mean, like, you can't say that. That's not a failure on your part. Also, like, even if you want to go down the road that like you pick the wrong partner, but then you wouldn't have the kids that you have. Like, hands down. I mean, like, you wouldn't have those kids, and you wouldn't trade those kids for the world. So no. It's not a failure. Like, you didn't fail in that. You can't make somebody something that they're not, and you can't know that somebody's not going to be that in the beginning, right? And you wouldn't have your kids. And so, like, it's not a failure. Like, that's the greatest success of your life is those kids. So, but your kids have a perspective on life that, like, my kids will never have. And it's not a disadvantage, right? Like, I'm hoping that my kids will want to have the same kind of relationship that their dad and I have. But, like, your kids have seen what they don't want, right? And will be able to identify that. And I think that's important. I mean, I have been able to avoid those kind of like the relationship that my mom and my stepdad had. I have been able to see that and avoid it because I know for a fact it's not what I want. But like your girls also know that like they can do anything without anybody, right? Like my mom did. And Jones is going to be attracted to women who are strong and independent and who can, and I mean, like, that's the best kind of relationship, right? He's not going to be attracted to the women who are looking for men to like take care of everything. And they, like, that's not who he's going to be looking for. He's going to be looking for like a strong, independent woman who's going to be a partner in life because that's who his mom was. And your daughters aren't going to settle for men who aren't a partner in life because they're going to know they can do it on their own. And I mean, like, that's who you've built. I mean, that's who you've made. And so that's not, I don't want my kids to have to go through that. But if I had daughters, I would almost, and I'm not saying that like your situation is ideal, but if I had daughters, that's who I would raise. I honestly think it's the reason I don't have daughters is because I would raise these men hating, I can do anything by myself, I don't need a man kind of women who I don't think that's like the right way to send young girls down that path. But you've done it in an eloquent way to where like they know that that's right. They know that they can do anything. They don't need a man, but they want a partner in life. And I think like that's the biggest advantage that you can give any of your kids, Jones and Ruby and Virginia, is you're giving your daughters independence and you're making Jones realize that he doesn't have to get a wife and take care of her. He needs a partner in life. He wants someone just like you, who's like strong and independent, can handle themselves. They can do anything any man can do, but he wants a partner in life. I mean, like, what else could you possibly ask for? God, Brooke, you're so selfish.
The next question, because I still feel like I'm about to cry. So next question.
Okay. We're almost done. We haven't even hardly had any questions. All right. You want to like completely shift gears. Do you think we're good at knowing what the other one needs, you and I?
Yes. Because I feel like we always want the same thing. I always still want advice, and you always want the blind support. And
right.
and I think blind support is an interesting way to word that, because it's not necessarily, I don't think it's blind support, but you just want somebody that's going to be like, absolutely, I stand behind you 100%. I see what's happening and I'm not an idiot. And like sometimes you are 100% correct, probably more often than not, in what you feel. And other times it's like, I mean, like, I could see a little bit, but like, absolutely, like they're the worst person in the world. Like,
right.
And that's all you need that at first. And then like, and I will say, to your credit, majority of the time you work through that like on your own, right? Like right. Whenever you do reach a point where you can see from different perspectives, but you definitely do not want that right away. You don't want somebody pointing anything else out to you in the moment, but you reach there and you reach it on your own without anybody like saying anything to you.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I mean by blind support is like, I know that I might not be 100% right in this, but I just need you to support me. But like, I'm not unrealistic in that, like, I know this is dramatic. I know this is a lot. I know that, like, maybe that's not exactly how that happened. But in the moment, I just want support. I just want you to be like, yep, they suck. Like, I can't believe they said that to you. Oh my God, this is so awful. But like, I'll eventually get to the I'm being ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes me a lot longer if I don't have someone supporting me.
But if you are,
Yeah.
which you're not always being ridiculous, sometimes, a lot of times it's completely justified.
Yeah.
I mean, as your best friend, I think it's completely justified.
That's why we're best friends.
That could also be completely missing the mark, but I feel like it's not.
Yeah. No, I do think I have a good sense of when it's completely outlandish. But
Yes.
I'm also like pissed off or, it's like, yeah. So,
But I do like advice.
yeah,
Like,
I know you like, and it's crazy because I'm always like, I know that I keep saying this, or I know, and I'm always like, you should say this. You should go and do this. Like you should, I don't know how many times in the last 2 weeks I've said your immediate response should be, and it's like, this is what you should say. And you never say that. You never take it. But I'm always like, and then I'll give you the same advice over and over and over and over to where like at some point I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop saying this because I feel like I've beat it to death. But I still offer my advice every time. And I think like that's why a relationship works so much is because I am so much of I want to try to fix your problem for you. And you're so much of I've got your back. And it's exactly what I need. And it's exactly what you need.
that's
like,
I've never thought of it in those terms, but I think you're right.
yeah,
I think we are exactly the kind of people where like, I don't want to give you advice. I want advice, but like, if you're going through something, like, I don't want to tell you anything. I just 100%, like, I just want you to know that I'm here and whatever you need, I'm going to take care of. You tell me what you need and I'll do it. Where you are the exact opposite. Like,
right.
don't give me any advice. I've got it and I'm going to figure it out on my own. But then like when somebody else is going through something, you're very much like, here's what you should do. Like, here's how you can handle it. Like, and I don't know. I'm not that way, but that's why I like the advice of other people. I feel like other people have such good perspectives. I want everybody's perspective. And I feel like when I have multiple different perspectives from different reasonings, I feel like it gives me a better opportunity to see things, to decide like what is the actual best option for me.
Right.
Because I'm not going to take everybody's opinion. Like, give me your advice. But like, I may or may not, I'm probably not going to take it, but I listened.
Right.
Like, I want it and it's going to help me make the decision, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use your advice to like, as the advice I'm going to take.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like we just figured out our friendship. I feel like
100%.
we just figured out like how this works so well that like you just blindly have my back and I very much want to like solve all your problems. Like,
So it's so nice. I feel like I barely have to do anything. You come to me with all these ideas and I'm just like, cool, I support you.
you're like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out about this. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, so I have an idea. Like, this is how this is going to work.
It's so nice.
Yeah, no, it works out. And I always feel supported. Oh my gosh. How many times have I like texted you and I'm like, dude, and you're like, what? And then I'm like, this happened. And you're like, she's so stupid.
I do love it when you send me those text messages and like if I don't have my phone on me right in that moment to respond, you're like, why are you taking so long?
I was like at Zan's and I was like, watch this. I'm going to text her, dude. And she's going to go, what? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. And I did it and you did it. And I was like, see? And she goes, y'all are ridiculous.
Yes.
Anyway.
In the best way.
I know. I feel like we just had an epiphany on like why our friendship works so much. I feel like we should stop here.
Are there no more questions? Is that why?
No, there are more questions. We're just out of time.
Oh.
So here we are.
Still here.
Thanks.
Solving each other's problems.
Or just giving support. Bye.